We have been talking about the power of a vision, and it all originated from this thought: if I don't know where I'm from, then I don't know who I am, and if I don't know who I am, then I can't understand why I'm here, and if I don't know why I'm here, then I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and if I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, then I certainly don't know where I'm going. And this is the crisis and why some people are angry, right? Just in case you have not noticed the news, a lot of people are angry. Most people are angry not just because they don't know who they are, but their lack of understanding is due to being misguided. See, when you don't know where you're going, you're more likely to follow anything that promises direction, hoping it will lead you to your destination. Have you ever asked a total stranger for directions? But here's the problem. After walking that path for so long, they discover it leads nowhere. Then they become angry because the path they trusted has consumed their time, energy, and resources and left them empty. They're also angry because they have accepted a false image that they were never supposed to accept, such as worldly systems. Their spirit is now at war with this system, struggling to return to the truth. Here is the trap of false systems: is if you identify with false systems, can't discover who you really are. Such as identifying with asterisk the success system: if I achieve enough, I'll be valuable. Asterisk the approval system: if people like me, I'm okay. Asterisk the position system: the title give me status. Or asterisk the pain system: I am my trauma or my past. When we accept the system as our identity, our spirit fights to restore us to our true original design. Here's the truth: anger only ends when our true identity begins. People don't know who they are, or they've accepted a false image of themselves. Asterisk systems of this world, so people put their trust in systems instead of God. And asterisk, when these systems fail, people feel angry, broken, and empty because their foundation was never meant to hold this false identity. Asterisk, but the solution can only be revealed in discovering your true purpose, and your true purpose can only be discovered by seeking the kingdom of God, Matthew 6:33, his system, his way of doing things, which leads to wholeness, peace, and purpose. Let me tell you a story about a man who restored an old house. As the story goes, in a wealthy community filled with $1 million homes, there stood a rundown, forgotten house. The paint was peeling, the roof sagging, and the neighbors considered it an eyesore. So upset, they petitioned the city to have it demolished, eager to remove what they saw as a blemish in their pristine neighborhood. But one man saw something different. He saw potential. He saw beauty under the decay. When the city moved to tear the house down, he became angry and stepped forward, and out of his anger, he pleaded with them to let him restore it. This old house still has good bones, he said. Give me a chance to bring it back to life. The city agreed, and the man began his work. It wasn't easy. He didn't rush to buy new materials from modern stores to cover up the flaws with quick fixes. Instead, he searched for the original blueprints and hunted down the same kind of wood, brick, and stone that had been used when the house was first built. Piece by piece, he restored it, not to make it new, but to make it whole again. When the work was done, the once forgotten house stood proudly among the mansions. But now it wasn't just beautiful, it was priceless. A reporter who heard about the restoration came to interview the man. Why, she asked, did you care so much about saving this old house? The man smiled and said, because this house reminds me of myself. I was once broken down too, but someone took the time to restore me back to my original design. He looked at the house and continued, you see, I didn't rebuild it with new materials or modern designs. I restored it to what it was meant to become. That's why it's worth more than all the mansions around it. Its value lies in its true identity. Then he added, just like this house, the housing around it should have been restored to its original condition, but the people used artificial materials. So even though they built $1 million mansions, the rebuild is not an authentic restoration. Asterisk, just like restoring an old house, people need to go back to original blueprint. We were made in the image of God. Instead of conforming to the systems of the world, be transformed by the kingdom system. Ask yourself, are you tired, weary, and heavy burden, and need to find rest? That's the reason why we're offering a faith-based anger management course that addresses not just behavior, but identity and belief systems. This course is connecting emotional health to spiritual alignment, which can be incredibly freeing for people who feel trapped in cycles of disappointment and frustration. The course will be available online or in person. The core message is anger ends when identity begins, end quote. The goal is to help people learn to break free from anger and help discover purpose by returning to the original design, the kingdom system that leads to peace, purpose, and total victory. So, a few things to take away. Anger is not just as an emotion, but it is a signal that something deeper is out of order. The word says, be angry and sin not. Anger itself isn't the problem. Lack of identity and misdirection of purpose is. Next thing to take away is just like the old house, this restoration takes time, patience, and going back to the original blueprint, God's word and spirit. And finally, I learned from the old man is he used his anger to help solve the problem. Therefore, the problem that makes you angry may be the problem you were born to solve and to help restore you back to your original design. Anger ends when identity begins, end quote. Ask yourself, what image have you accepted that God never gave you? The release of the anger management class will be available on our website, December 5th, 2025. We are accepting orders now. This is also a court-approved course and can be used to meet court-mandated anger management requirements. So call 229-449-2575 or visit our website to place an order today. Learn to break free from false systems and return to the original design. Provision we see beyond your limits, and with the proper vision, there are no limitations. Be blessed, peace out. Challenging negative self-talk. In the next exercise, you identify some beliefs about how you should be, which are influenced by your family, friends, culture, and other factors. While it is important to have ideals that we aspire to, focusing too much on how can leave you feeling like you are not good enough, which in turn can prevent you from making positive changes in your life. If you find yourself thinking badly about yourself, using negative labels to describe yourself, or engaging in other negative self-talk, it can be useful to challenge those problematic thoughts so that you don't get stuck in a cycle of negativity. What are some irrational negative beliefs that you hold about yourself? You can use the irrational beliefs you listed in the above exercise, as well as any others that come to mind. Here are some ways to challenge those negative beliefs. Reality testing. Consider the evidence for against a specific belief. Identify whether the belief is rational or irrational. For example, a belief that you should be perfect is irrational because nobody is perfect. Identify alternative beliefs. Are there other beliefs that may be more rational or helpful? What would you say to a friend who held this belief about him, herself? How might the belief change if you were to maintain a more positive perspective about yourself? It is common to build things up in our head to make them a bigger deal than they really are. But you should first consider whether the situation is really as bad as you are making it out to be. Understanding the power of positive self-talk is important in discovering your purpose. The truth is, what you think you become. If you constantly entertain negative thoughts, you will eventually speak negative words, and those words will be reflected in your actions. The word of God reminds us that the power of life and death is in the tongue. Unfortunately, many people unknowingly speak death over their own lives because they have allowed negative thinking to take root in their minds. But today, that changes. Today, we begin to reverse that pattern and speak life. You must understand that your words carry creative power, they shape your reality. So instead of saying, I can't, declare, I can do all things through the King who lives within me. To overcome negative thinking, you must renew your mind daily with positive self talk. Every day, feed your mind with thoughts that align with your divine purpose. Read words that inspire you. Meditate on truths that elevate your spirit. Speak affirmations that reflect who you are becoming, not who you used to be. That is how you begin to kill the negative thoughts that try to hold you back, by replacing them with life giving words of true faith and power. Now, pause and answer the question. In 5 years, I will hold what kind of belief? We all have flaws and we all make mistakes. Sometimes our negative beliefs about ourselves may hold some truth. In that case, it is best to acknowledge and accept our flaws so that we can move forward in a healthy way. There are some things that we can change about ourselves, such as our behaviors and beliefs. On the other hand, there are some things that we can't change, such as aspects of our physical appearance and other qualities that we were born with. When we can't change something, we can benefit from accepting it. Consider the list of not so good things about yourself that you created earlier when answering the following questions. One, which of the not so good things can you change? Two, which are most important to change? Three, list at least three things that you can do to make positive changes in those areas. Be specific. Four, which of the not so good things that you identify can't be changed? Five, can you accept those things about yourself? Now pause and answer the questions concerning acceptance and start again once completed. Our early family experiences have great influence over our adult identities. The relationships that we have with our parents or other caregivers can lay the foundation for future relationships throughout our lives. Even as an adult, your relationship with your family can cause stress and tension. It is important to understand how our families have shaped who we are and how they continue to affect us currently. One, how has your family affected your emotions? Two, how has your family influenced your relationships with others? Three, which family member can push your buttons the most? What do they do? Four, what strategies do other people use in your family to deal with the person mentioned on the previous page? Five, what role do you play in your family conflicts? How do your behaviors affect the experience of having your buttons pushed? How can you change the effect that it has on you? Now, pause and answer the questions concerning family drama and learn how it affects our behaviors. Six, how have family secrets affected your life positively or negatively? Seven, is denial about substance, sexual, verbal, or physical abuse acceptable within the family? Should this history of behavior be hidden from family members? Why or why not? Eight, should accomplishments, awards, promotions, or scholarships be hidden from family members? Nine, how can you improve your family? 10, is family something that you value? If so, in what ways do you show that you value your family? 11, are you improving your family or are you keeping the family drama alive? 12. Would you raise your children the same way your parents raised you? If not, what changes would you make?
Now, let's answer some important questions that can inspire to let it go, such as one, what is the purpose of holding on to the past? Two, where does holding on to the past get you? Three, is your past affecting you presently? If so, how? Four, does holding on to negative things in your past benefit you in any way? Five, seriously, does being negative or pessimistic lead to positive results? Six, if no, why do people continue to do it? Seven, what are the characteristics of victims? Eight, do those characteristics describe you? Would you like to be held in eternal bondage by your past? Nine, what is the best way to get over your past? Now, pause and answer and reflect on these questions and answers.
Next, let's take a moment to discuss the practice of delayed gratification. Those who practice delayed gratification usually have less issues with impulse control and have been known to live longer, more fulfilled lives. Impulsivity can be a serious problem. When we give into our urges without thinking them through, we can end up in trouble. Although you may want to fulfill your urges right away, there is great value in being able to delay gratification so that you do not act without thinking. One, how has instant gratification affected your life? Two, what are the benefits of delayed gratification? Three, what are the cons of instant gratification? Four, are fast things good for you? Please explain. Five, do good things come to those who wait? Please explain. Six, how can delayed gratification improve your life? Now pause and answer the questions concerning delayed gratification. Don't be controlled by fear. Many people are controlled by fear. These fears can manifest into anger and impulse control problem. Many express their anger because they don't want to accept a foreseeable consequence. Fear is irrational and it stands for false existence appearing real. One, what are you really afraid of? Be honest. Two, what is your greatest fear? Three, what has fear stopped you from doing? Four, what benefits do you gain from confronting your fears? Now pause and answer the questions to help you confront your fears. Consequences of poor anger management: expulsion from school, loss of time, loss of respect, loss of relationships, added stress probation, community service loss of freedom, loss of money, health problems, loss of professional licenses, financial consequences, public humiliation, diminished reputation, loss of property, criminal record, court fees, fines, etc., employment loss of citizenship, residency, embarrassment, guilt, trauma. Next, let's discuss some financial consequences of not managing anger. Take the time to identify some of the financial consequences that you may have experienced. On page 93, list finds money lost and time lost as consequences of poor anger management. Honesty is an important quality in relationships, not just with others, but also with ourselves. While everybody is dishonest from time to time, addressing conflicts in an open and honest way is crucial for a healthy relationship. Let's explore some of your ideas about honesty. 1. Can women handle the truth? Why or why not? 2. Can men handle the truth? Why or why not? 3. What are things that women lie about? 4. What are things that men lie about? 5. Who are better liars? Women or men? 6. How do women lie differently than men? How do they cover it up? What tactics do they use? 7. Do you respect liars? Why or why not? Now answer the questions concerning the importance of honesty in a relationship. 8. Do you lie to yourself? If so, why? 9. What is the purpose of a lie? 10. How have lies hurt you in the past? 11. Strip away your ego defenses and lies you tell yourself. Truly, who are you? Now pause and answer questions concerning the importance of practicing honesty in relationships. Decision tree, as you notice on page 96 in the workbook. In life, we are required to make a lot of decisions, both big and small. Each choice we make will have a ripple effect on many different aspects of our life that we may have failed to consider. This is why it is very important to evaluate our choices in order to create the best possible outcomes. Creating a decision tree helps you see the possible ripple effects of your choices. Now, please pause and take time to create your own decision tree and evaluate your choices on page 97. Self-awareness. Knowing yourself is important. When you are self-aware, you are better able to understand your triggers, fears, reactions, and emotions so that you can gain more control over your behaviors. Self-awareness allows you to respond to a situation thoughtfully rather than simply reacting to it. 1. What makes you happy, relaxed, and fulfilled? 2. What are the top 3 distractions or weaknesses that keep you from achieving your goals? How will you remove these weaknesses or distractions? 3. What are your strengths? Are there other skills that you need to develop? If so, what are they? Now pause for a moment and answer the questions concerning self-awareness. By answering these questions, you are making a huge step towards learning to manage anger. Pretend that you were told by your doctor that you had 5 years to live. How would you change your life? Would you do anything differently? 5. What do you want to be known for? What kind of legacy will you leave behind? 6. Describe the characteristics of your ideal mate. What kind of personality does he, she have? What are his, her physical characteristics? What are deal breakers for you? Personality, physical features, deal breakers, other. 7. What was the best birthday you ever had? What did you do and who was there? 8. Who do you admire and respect? What qualities do they have and what do you need to do to get those same qualities? 1. Name, relationship, qualities. 2. Name, relationship, qualities, and 9. If you could be any fictional character, who would you be and why? 10. If you had $1 million right now, how would you spend or invest it? Be specific. So what is credit anyway? In essence, credit is any form of delayed payment. It allows one party, the debtor or borrower, to receive money, goods, or services from another party, the creditor or lender, without having to pay up front. Instead, there is an agreement based on trust that the borrower will either pay or return the materials or other materials of equal value at a later date. The cost of credit comes in the form of a predetermined rate of interest that is applied to the amount borrowed and will accrue until the debt has been paid. Credit bureaus collect information from various sources regarding your borrowing and bill paying habits and create a report based on these findings. A credit score is a number that represents your credit worthiness. It is formulated based on your credit report. The most common credit scores are FICO scores. FICO scores range from 300 to 850. The higher the score, the better your credit. Your credit score is used to determine whether you are worthy of credit, to determine interest rates, and assess your ability to pay back loans. In essence, your past behavior is used to predict your future behavior. Because credit is based on trust in your previous financial behavior, it is very important to create a flawless track record of bill paying activity. 1. Do you know your credit score? If so, what is it? Pauses and answer the question. 2. When was the last time you checked your credit score and credit report? 3. Do you typically pay your bills on time? Why or why not? 4. How many lines of credit do you have open, credit cards, loans, etc.? 5. Are your credit cards maxed out? If so, why? 6. Do you pay the minimum amount allowed? If so, why? 7. How soon do you think you will be able to pay off your credit cards? 8. Do you have a plan in place to pay off your debts? If so, what is it? 9. Now pause and think of how can you improve your credit? FYI, having no credit is bad credit. Personal budget. Many people become angry, depressed, or stressed out due to poor financial management. On this page, create a monthly budget for yourself based on your current income. Mortgage/utilities, groceries, credit card, clothing, miscellaneous cell phone, internet, entertainment, self-care, gas, and savings. Practice the activity on page 105 entitled Identifying Money in Budget Notes. And money out =, the outcome of money left over. Amygdala hijacking describes a situation when a person responds inappropriately based on emotional rather than intellectual factors. The amygdala is the emotional center of the human brain and makes quick responses when a person is threatened. An inappropriate emotional response to a perceived threat is called an amygdala hijack. The process for the amygdala's response is to act, feel, think, or feel, act, think. We want you to think, act, feel. As you turn to page 107 in your workbook, we will explain the concept. The amygdala is the part of the brain that protects us from threats. It is considered to be used as a survival mechanism during extreme stimulus or triggers. The prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain where conscious control and decision-making processes occur. During low to moderate stressful events, the prefrontal cortex will calm amygdala down and consider the pros and cons of taking actions. When the stimulus is extreme, the amygdala will shut down the prefrontal cortex function and take over to protect us from threats. Unfortunately, many people who suffer from chronic anger perceive low to moderate events as extreme events and activate unnecessary flight or fight responses. Flight or fight refers to building up energy to run away or building up energy to fight. Continuous activation of this process can lead to chronic health problems and negative life experiences. Now, pause and reflect on what you just learned. Decision-making scenarios. Behavior is developed through our values, principles, and the consequences of our actions. Each decision or choice that you make has a ripple effect. We would like for you to practice your decision-making skills while being exposed to emotionally charged scenarios. There are no right or wrong answers. We just want you to practice making decisions while being emotionally charged. If you want to get better at singing, public speaking, driving a car, painting, or doing some other skill, you need to practice. People who live the best lives make the best decisions. We want you to make the best decisions for your life. On the next page, there is a series of scenarios for you to evaluate. Please have a response for each scenario listed. Please keep it real and don't give answers that you think your group or counselor want to hear. Remember, this is a judgment-free zone. Scenario #1, school is about to start and you just bought some new school clothes for your daughter. While she waits at the bus stop, a neighborhood bully rips her clothes and harasses her. Your daughter reports this back to you and you find out that this bully's parent is your supervisor at your job. How do you handle this situation? Now pause and think about the question and write in your answer. Scenario #2, your mom is single and she is dating someone who is the same age as you. They invite you to dinner where he proposes to her and she gladly accepts. They have been only dating for a month. Later that evening, he comes to you and asks for your blessing and support of his marriage to your mom. How do you handle this situation? Now pause and think about the question and write in your answer. Scenario #3, you are on probation and your supervisor needs a ride home. He uses cocaine on a regular basis and is known to have cocaine on him at all times. Do you give him a ride home? Now pause and think about the question and write in your answer. Scenario #4, you are a mother, father of 3 children. You're offered a spot on a popular reality show. The pay is $200,000 per episode. The show is very popular and known for having a lot of fights, arguments, and undignified behavior. In order to be on the show, you must behave the same way. That is, argue and fight. Tell the world all your deep, dark secrets. Sexualize yourself. Let people disrespect you, disrespect others, and show the worst sides of yourself. What would you do? Now pause and answer the question. Good job. Next scenario #5, you're watching the news and you see video footage of a man that is wanted by the police for murdering a woman and burning her body on the side of the road near your house. The man looks exactly like your brother. Just a week before, on the night of the murder, your brother came to your house looking worried and asking for a gas can. Although you didn't give him your gas can, you noticed later on that it was missing. What would you do? Scenario #6, you are at a family gathering and your cousin has brought his new girlfriend. You notice that he is being verbally abusive to her. That is, calling her out of her name, saying disrespectful things, and threatening to beat her up. What do you do? Now, pause and answer the questions. Great job. Scenario hash 7, you are struggling financially and your neighbor is getting over because she is getting disability, food stamps, and a tax return for 3 kids that are not hers. Plus, she has a babysitting business next door and is not licensed by the state to run a daycare. Now, pause, answer questions, and take time to reflect on your answers. Mindset maintenance. Please listen to some examples of mindset maintenance. Know your triggers and stay away from them. Find alternate ways to cope. Go to counseling for unresolved issues like grief, depression, anger, anxiety, substance use, or gambling or sex addiction. Engage in activities that improve your mood. Manage your emotions. Do positive things that you used to enjoy that you don't do now. Nostalgia, music, hobbies, old television shows. Try something new and gain exposure to exciting things that interest you. Resolve personal issues with family, friends, and coworkers. Be assertive and do not be afraid to tell people no. Be aware and adjust your behavior patterns. Stay away from negative influences. Develop an action plan to improve emotionally, physically, and financially. Understand the long-term consequences of your actions and how it will affect you personally, professionally, and emotionally. Practice delayed gratification. Create a budget for yourself and only buy what you need and save for the future. When you have the urge to engage in negative behaviors, know that you have a choice. You are not on autopilot and you can control your behavior. Go to school and improve your marketability by earning a degree, trade, or license in a specialized field. Work on professional goals. Exercise regularly and try to get sunlight as much as possible to increase endorphins. Do positive things and engage in legal experiences that make you happy. Develop a relapse prevention plan. Pre-plan on how you are going to respond to stress, anxiety, failure, and mistakes in a positive manner that lead to long-term success. Go to church and get spiritual guidance. Now and reflect on theses examples. These are tools you will be able to use when with conflict difficulties. Time management. Managing your time effectively can help to reduce stress, anxiety, and irritability. By planning out your schedule, you can also increase your chances of meeting your goals and deadlines. To manage your time most effectively, consider what tasks you need to complete, which tasks are most important, and any deadlines that you need to be mindful of. Now turn to page 115 to take time to write out your activities and times for the week. Now pause and think about how writing out your day and using time management can help reduce episode of anger. Let's discuss the importance of setting goals and how it can help reduce anger. Many people are angry, depressed, or dissatisfied with life because they do not pursue their dreams or desires. This is not going to be you. Setting goals is an important part of personal development. In order to improve ourselves and our lives, we need to know what we are striving for. Write a list of short-term and long-term goals that you would like to accomplish. Transform your list of goals into SMART goals by answering the following questions. Start with the first goal listed above. Goal specific. What specifically do you want to do? Measurable. How will you measure your success? How much? How many? Attainable. Is it in your power to accomplish this goal? Relevant. Is this goal consistent with your other goals and plans? Time bound. What is the established deadline that will create a reasonable sense of urgency for you to complete the goal? SMART goal. Now complete SMART goal activity on page 118. Now, let's work on professional development. What can you specialize in that makes you different from the crowd? What special skill, niche, or talent can you develop that will put you in demand? What special skills and talents do you already possess? Consider skills that you have been trained on, as well as natural innate abilities that you may have. Homework assignment. Go on the internet and search for careers that require a special skill or training that you would be willing to commit to. Look for something that most people are not doing or thinking about. Look for apprenticeship and certification programs. Do not be discouraged if it requires you to jump through a lot of hoops. This element is created to weed out competition and the people who are not serious. What was cool in high school is not cool in adulthood. Many people learn this lesson the hard way and end up being angry due to regret. Successful people tend to sacrifice time, money, and their wants to gain what they need for long term success. They choose to give up toxic lifestyles, friends, and environments to live a fulfilled life. Others choose another path and end up suffering throughout adulthood because of poor decision making. When their back is against the wall or when a crisis emerges, they have to rely on doing something that can potentially put them in a worse situation than before. Who will you decide to be? Will you be the person who chooses to sacrifice their wants for their needs or the person who sacrifices their needs for their wants? One, what is the difference between a want and a need? Two, what is your ideal career and what steps do you need to take today to get there? Three, who or what do you need to remove from your life to achieve this goal? Four, in your city or state, who is the leader in your field of choice? Would you allow them to mentor you? Five, what is your life's purpose? If you do not know, consider gaining exposure to different people, places, and things so you can find out what you're really good at. You could be a natural violin player, but wouldn't even know it because you have never touched a violin. Six, what lifestyle choices do you need to give up to improve your health? Seven, what sacrifices can you make right now to achieve long term success? Take time to pause and answer the questions. There are those in this world who fail to take care of themselves. Due to this, they suffer at work, have poor relationships, live shorter lives, use illegal drugs to cope, etc. It is important that we take care of ourselves. Check the things that you would like to do to improve your self care. Now, take time and identify some of the ways you can improve self care on page 122. Massages, manicures, pedicures, facials, staycation alone, time, sunlight, exercise, be in nature, vacation, socialize, counseling, improve living environment, improve work environment, buy new clothes, sleep, read, improve eating habits. Now take time and identify some of the ways you can improve self-care on page 122. Self-care plan. Now that you have identified some self-care activities that you are interested in, develop a more specific plan for self-care. One, what activity can you commit to doing each day for self-care? It should be something that does not require a lot of time or money so that it is feasible to practice it each day. Two, what activity can you do monthly for self-care? This may be something that takes more time or money than your daily activity. It is important to recognize what barriers might impede you from practicing self care. Sometimes people believe that they don't have enough to take care of themselves or that they need to care for other people before themselves. In reality, if you do not practice adequate self care, you are likely to suffer negative consequences, which will prevent you from attending to other important areas in your life. Three, what barriers may prevent you from practicing self care? Four, what can you do to ensure that you make time to take care of yourself? Who can support you in your goal of practicing self care? Now, pause and create your own self care plan now. It's so important to believe in yourself. If you do all the activities in this book and understand the concepts presented, but fail to believe in yourself, this will be a waste of your time. This is the link in the chain that many people miss. They go after their goals, but secretly believe that they will not achieve them. They are lukewarm and passive instead of being on fire and aggressive. They lack confidence and continue to second guess themselves due to fear and emotional baggage. You can manage your anger and you can accomplish your dreams if you believe in yourself. Believability scale from 1 to 10. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, circle the number that represents your belief that you can be successful in managing your anger. If you circle 10, that means you are very confident. If you circle 1, that means that you are not confident. 1, explain why you chose the number you circled. 2, what can you do to increase your belief? Pause and answer the questions ways you can increase your belief. Remember your successes. When times are tough, it can be challenging to remember that there were better times in the past, but everybody has been successful at something. Reflecting on your successes can help you feel more confident in your ability to make positive change in the present or future. 1, list some positive changes that you have made in your life. 2, choose one of those successes and list the steps that you took in order to make that change. 3, what factors helped you to make that change? Consider both internal factors, motivation, intelligence, etc., and external ones, support, rewards, etc. 4, what resources, internal and external, will help you to make positive changes now? Sometimes we need assistance in being accountable for our action or inaction. Accountability partners can help us stay on track with our goals by checking our progress. They tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. Accountability partners tell us the truth and are not enablers. They are invested in our long term success. They can be friends, family members, or coworkers. Write down the qualities of a great accountability partner. Turn to page 126 and answer the questions. Write down names of potential accountability partners who you trust to hold you accountable. Be careful in who you choose. Everyone is not meant to be an accountability partner. The person you choose may have great qualities, but may not be great in holding people accountable. Potential accountability partners, what qualities do they have? Gratitude. We sometimes forget about our blessings and take them for granted. It is important to appreciate the things that we have. Even when things feel bad in your own life, there are always things to be grateful for. And focusing on gratitude has significant benefits, including improved physical and mental well-being, improved self-esteem, and reduced aggression. List the things that you are thankful for. People take care of the things that they truly appreciate. For example, if someone appreciates their car, they keep their car clean and make sure that they keep up on the maintenance. Appreciation is more than saying words. It consists of feeling thankful and doing things that show that you are appreciative. Bucket list. Creating a bucket list can give you some insight into what is important to you and what you really want to achieve in your life. 1. Write down a list of things that you want to do before you die. 2. What steps do you need to take now to accomplish the things listed on your bucket list? Relapse prevention. When we are trying to make positive changes in our lives, it is not uncommon to experience one or more relapses. Anybody who has tried to quit smoking or start a new diet knows that falling back into old patterns is all too easy. While relapses can be frustrating, they can also be valuable learning experiences. Experiencing a relapse can help you to identify what high-risk situations you may need to avoid in the future. Here are some steps for dealing with a relapse if it happens. 1. Be honest about it. It's easy to feel embarrassed or ashamed when a relapse occurs, but hiding it increases the likelihood of additional relapses in the future. Instead of trying to forget about it or hide it, let a trusted friend or counselor know about your relapse. Holding yourself accountable is crucial. 2. Identify factors that led to the relapse. Did you put yourself into a high-risk situation that you couldn't handle? Did you neglect self-care? Identifying the factors that contributed to the relapse will help you avoid another one from occurring. 3. Make changes to decrease the likelihood of future relapses. The changes that need to be made depend on what led to the relapse, but may include avoiding similar high-risk situations, attending counseling or support group, or increasing self-care. 4. Get support. Hearing from other people who have been through similar experiences can help you feel less alone. Getting support can also help you avoid feeling too discouraged to try again in the future. 5. Remember that all is not lost. The fact that you had a relapse does not negate all the positive progress that you made. You don't have to start all over. You just need to get back on track. We hope that you have enjoyed the Anger Management course, and this concludes the course. There is a test that you must pass with a 70 or greater to receive your certificate for completing the course. Thank you again for attending the Provision Anger Management course. Please like and share with someone who may benefit from attending. Share on social media platforms and write review on Google of how much you enjoyed the class. If you need any other services, please call 229-449-2575 or email us at info@provisiondewey.school.com. Thank you.